The movie begins in the town of New Salem, where radio hosts Chilly Billy and Paul share scary stories with their listeners on Halloween night. In the first story, a drunk man is driving when he sees another man whose car has broken down by the roadside. The man signals for help, but the drunk driver runs him over with his truck, killing him. The scene then shifts to a young girl named Kyra, who is running to a treehouse to meet her friends. She draws a killer clown in her sketchbook, and that clown, named Bad Candy, magically comes to life. At the treehouse, Kyra joins her friends, who are getting dressed for Halloween. When Kyra tries to draw on a board, one of her friends stops her, reminding her about something bad that happened last Halloween when she drew. The group then notices a young bully outside destroying their pumpkins and decorations before running away. As they prepare to go out for trick-or-treating, Kyra receives a text from her stepdad telling her to come home. Meanwhile, the young bully continues to destroy Halloween decorations, and after smashing pumpkins at one house, he wanders into a haunted attraction designed like a circus tent. Inside, a clown startles him, and he runs out, only to be caught by Bad Candy. The clown turns the boy into a small figure and walks into the woods, adding the figure to a creepy diorama. Meanwhile, Kyra meets her stepdad in his truck, who turns out to be the same drunk man who ran over someone at the beginning of the movie. Because Kyra had unleashed Bad Candy the year before, her abusive stepfather forbids her from going trick-or-treating with her friends and locks her in her bedroom. He then goes outside and throws away the Halloween decorations. Trapped in her room, Kyra uses her magic sketchpad to draw a fairy, which comes to life, slips under the door, and tries to unlock it from the outside. She also draws a goblin that appears inside the room and tries to open the door from within. Her stepfather hears the noise and storms into the room, angrily destroying the magical creatures. Upset, Kyra draws her dead mother, who appears as a vengeful ghost and sucks the soul out of her abusive ex-husband. Afterward, Kyra receives a message from her friend, and now happy, she leaves the house to join her friends for trick-or-treating. The next scene shows an elderly man named Mr. Grimsley putting razor blades into the treats he plans to hand out to children. Suddenly, a kid knocks on Mr. Grimsley's door for trick-or-treating. He gives her some candy and a cupcake with a razor blade inside. As the kid walks away, she trips and falls, and is confronted by Bad Candy, who crushes the cupcake and lets her go unharmed. Bad Candy then heads to Mr. Grimsley's house and knocks on his door, and when the old man steps outside, he finds no one there, just a music box on the porch. As he winds it up, there's a knock at his back door, and when he opens it, he is shocked to find the clown standing there. Suddenly, the music box explodes in his face, injuring him, and Bad Candy enters the house. Mr. Grimsley grabs a shotgun and shoots at the clown, but the bullets have no effect. Bad Candy possesses him and forces him to mutilate himself with the blades he had hidden in the candy, before killing him. The next scene takes place at a costume party, where a drug dealer named Charlie is showing off and flirting with women, trying to impress them, unaware that someone in a devil mask is watching him. He leaves the party and drives off, passing Bad Candy standing by the roadside. Charlie stops at a gas station and goes into the dirty bathroom, and despite how filthy it is, he decides to use it. While inside, he notices a bloodstain on a tissue and a phone number written on the wall. Out of curiosity, he texts the number, and soon receives a photo of himself sitting in the bathroom, sent by an unknown sender. Scared, Charlie steps out of the toilet and encounters a man with his tongue cut out. Suddenly, the supernatural killer in the devil mask appears and kills the man. Terrified, Charlie runs back into the bathroom, begging the killer not to harm him. The killer leaves, and when it seems safe, Charlie reaches out of the stall to grab his phone, but the killer suddenly slashes his hand. Charlie leans his face against the door to listen, and the killer stabs through the door, piercing the blade on Charlie's face. Now helpless, the killer enters the stall and kills Charlie by smashing his head against the toilet bowl before walking away. Back at the costume party, a woman named Abby receives a breakup text from her boyfriend, Matt. Shortly after, her boss, Kyle, calls and orders her to work the night shift at the morgue. Abby leaves the party, unaware that Bad Candy is watching her. At the morgue, Abby gets drunk and takes drugs she got from Charlie at the party. While under the influence, she sits on a male corpse and begins to touch it, eventually becoming intimate with it. Suddenly, the corpse moves and comes to life, causing Abby to panic and run. The corpse chases her as she begins to experience intense hallucinations. She ends up in a room where more corpses rise and begin surrounding her, and at that moment, Bad Candy appears and locks her inside the room. Dressed as Dracula, rideshare driver Daryl picks up Marie from the costume party and drives her home. When she arrives, Bad Candy watches her from the nearby woods. Marie notices her front door slightly open and cautiously goes inside, where she finds Jimmy, a troublemaker from her school days, robbing her house with another man. Marie tries to escape, but Jimmy catches her and begins to assault her, but she fights back and runs into another room, hiding under a desk. As Jimmy approaches, she grabs a nail dispatcher and shoots it into his leg before running outside. Jimmy pulls out the nails and chases her, and when Marie tries to defend herself with an axe, Jimmy grabs it and hits her. Near a swing set, Jimmy is suddenly and supernaturally hanged by the swing's chain. As Marie loses consciousness, Bad Candy appears and dismembers Jimmy. Meanwhile, Daryl picks up a man during his rideshare shift, and during the drive, the man starts smoking. When Daryl tells him to stop, he refuses and Daryl kicks him out of the car. Daryl then texts his friend, saying happy hunting, while a couple is shown being attacked by an unknown person. Later, Daryl stops at a gas station, and in the trunk of his car, he has someone tied up. At the station, he picks up a prostitute as his next passenger, and during their conversation, the prostitute offers to introduce Daryl to her pimp. She takes him to a location where a group of criminals is gathered, and when they start mocking Daryl, he shoots one of them. Daryl's friend Vince, who served with him in the military, arrives to join him. Together, Daryl and Vince kill several of the pimp's associates and capture the rest. Daryl also knocks the prostitute unconscious. They take the captives to a forest, where they are joined by Scotty and Lenny, two other ex-soldiers suffering from PTSD. The group brings a truck full of weapons, and Vince speaks to the captives, blaming them for ruining other people's lives for their own gain. Daryl pours red liquid on them, and he and Vince place pumpkins on their heads, and they offer the criminals a chance to run for freedom. With pumpkins on their heads and hands tied, the criminals run through the woods while the ex-soldiers hunt them with spears. Lenny transforms into a vampiric bat creature and begins killing them one by one. One criminal manages to escape and hides behind a tree, but Vince kills him by throwing a spear at him. After killing all the criminals, the ex-soldiers celebrate in the woods, and Bad Candy is seen watching from a distance. However, one of the criminals survives and escapes, still wearing a pumpkin on his head, and he runs into the street. Meanwhile, at the radio show studio, Chilly Billy receives a call from a listener who asks him to tell the story about a group of ghost hunters who visited a haunted house on a hill. The story takes place in a foggy city, where a team of television ghost hunters is driving to a haunted house on a hill, and suddenly, their van gets stuck. The group's leader, Tim, decides to continue on foot with Simon and Judy, while Curtis and Vanessa stay behind to try and get the van unstuck. The ghost hunters are investigating a house where a young boy named Jacob tragically died. He had become trapped inside the house after starting a fire. The ghost hunters set up a camera outside the mansion to detect any ghost activity before heading inside. Meanwhile, Curtis and Vanessa go into the woods to look for a stick to help free their stuck vehicle. Inside the mansion, Judy begins to have psychic visions about the day Jacob set the house on fire. In her vision, Jacob had been dared by two bullies to go inside the mansion and retrieve a comic book from the basement. If he did, they promised to let him join them for Halloween. Jacob enters the house and goes to the basement. At the same time, the ghost hunters also make their way into the basement. In the vision, Judy sees Jacob becoming frightened as he hears strange voices but can't tell where they're coming from. He accidentally drops his light, which ignites the comic books, starting a fire in the basement. Jacob runs to the front door, but the bullies are holding it shut from the outside, refusing to let him out, even as he yells that the basement is on fire. Meanwhile, Curtis and Vanessa manage to free the vehicle and drive to the mansion to meet the others. When Vanessa checks the ghost camera, she sees a vision of the mansion burning, though in reality, it's not on fire. She and Curtis rush to the mansion and work to unlock the door to rescue the others trapped inside. After a struggle, Curtis manages to get the door open, and the ghost hunting crew escapes. They drag Judy out with them, as she's still caught in her vision, insisting she can still save Jacob. It's revealed that one of the bullies, named Paul, could have saved Jacob but cruelly chose to keep the door shut. As the flames spread through the house, the bullies ran away, leaving Jacob to die. In the present, it's revealed that the bully responsible for Jacob's death is now radio DJ Paul. He begins to hear strange noises, unaware that Bad Candy is watching him. Suddenly, the clown attacks, and Paul is thrown into a terrifying vision, finding himself trapped in a burning room, just like Jacob was. As smoke fills the studio, Chilly Billy escapes while the radio station goes up in flames, and outside, he is confronted by Bad Candy. Just before the clown can attack, Kyra tears up the drawing of Bad Candy, causing the clown to vanish. Meanwhile, a young trick-or-treater encounters Lenny, who is still in his vampiric bat creature form, and offers him a piece of candy. Now returned to his human form, Lenny rejoins the other ex-soldiers, and they share a drink together. Elsewhere, the criminal who escaped the earlier assault by Daryl and his friends runs to a payphone and struggles to use it, desperate for help. The movie ends by revisiting the events of the Halloween night, showing a montage of the people who were haunted and killed by Bad Candy. Okay guys, that's all the recap about Bad Candy from 2021. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.